Hello, I'm Kate Kennedy, Councilwoman in District 1 in North College Park. Thank you for joining me on my first ever video, I guess, address, as we might say. I'm going to try to keep this a little brief today because this is new for me. I've not really done one of these before, so I'm going to try to be brief, but I want to cover three topics of interest to me and coming up soon in our meetings and such. First, I should say today is Monday, January 22nd, 2018. So we have a council meeting tomorrow with a work session afterwards. Tomorrow the three big items on the agenda tomorrow are Bozzuto Development and a charter change, both of which I want to talk about in just a second. Also on the agenda is a address, or it's actually a work session after our official meeting. A group is coming in that did a public safety study and giving us the results of that. So I'm sure that'll be very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing their presentation and reading their report. I just got it over the weekend, so looking forward to hearing that and hopefully talking about that in the future. So the two things on the agenda that I do want to talk about just briefly are the Bozzuto development, which I am very excited about. We've been talking about it for a few weeks now. What's exciting about this is that it's a new kind of development, or a new level, I would say, a little bit higher end. I mean, not Nordstrom higher end, but higher end than what we've got in College Park up till now. It's going in the site where Plato's Diner and the Quality Inn is, and it's being done by a group called Bozzuto Development, and they did Monroe Street Market out by Catholic University. So if you have been there recently and seen the Busboys and Poets and all the beautiful retail there, that's sort of the feel that we want to bring to this area. Very walkable and also accessible via parking garage, that sort of thing. Attractive to both families, young couples in the area. So it's not student necessarily centric, those students will benefit from it. It is more geared towards permanent residents in the area. I'm really excited about this development. We've been working with them, getting some legal work together, and now we are moving on to some tax incentives that they have asked for. Because of this is a new type or a new level of development in College Park. We are talking about providing some tax incentives, which makes it more palatable, if you will, for them to move into the area and to do this development and invest in College Park. So looking forward to talking with them about that. It's important to note that in these tax incentives, we're not paying them really necessarily. It's money that future earnings that they would that instead of coming to us, they would keep and invest back in the project. It's about, the term is a 15-year term, so after 15 years, we would be receiving all of the tax benefits, and I would assume good tax and benefits, because it'll be nicer, higher end, if you will, retail. So that's Bozzuto. The second is we will be discussing a charter change, which is very complicated. So something that today I was like, oh, I think this way, no, I think this way, I think that way. I've gone back and forth multiple times, and part of that is this conversation has started with the council back in the fall as a direct response to the all residents voting legislation that they thought they had passed, but then it wasn't quite, for technical reasons, which if you want to know the whole backstory, I can give it to you. I'm not going to get into it here because I would need to, it's just very complicated. So there are two parts to this charter change. One is essentially pretty benign. It's not really changing anything. It's just changing the wording so that it more reflects what we currently are doing. The issue is that the state regulates certain kinds of, they regulate anytime we change the charter, they regulate transfer of funds and something called assessments, which we don't really do a lot of in College Park, that we may, but it really is relevant to the transfer and the charter changes. The state says we need to have a majority, which is 5 votes, and so I should say I'm moving into sort of the substantive change that is being proposed right now. So this is the part that's a little bit more controversial. The state says you need 5 votes in order for something to pass, and so when you have 8 city councilors, right, and then a mayor, typically what happens, or what has happened historically, is that you have the vote amongst the 8, and then the mayor only votes if there's a tie, which is fine if you legitimately have a 4-4 decision, right? If there's 4-4, and then the mayor would vote and it would go one way or the other. The problem is, the concern is that if you have 8 people voting and 1 abstains, right, or isn't present, that either option is plausible, then the minority wins because it doesn't pass. Except that, so basically the minority has supersedes what the majority wants, right? So what is being proposed is that in these 2 specific instances, the charter change and the transfer of funds and the assessment, which we don't really do, that the mayor would be able to vote in every instance, therefore always, therefore not prohibiting or this from happening, where the minority gets to basically outvote or take over what the majority is thinking, right? Which I do, I've gone back and forth. I've talked to some people. Some people think that it's giving the mayor more power, which is true. It's giving the mayor some more power in these 2 instances, but it's also preventing the minority from being able to basically procedurally stall something or procedurally enable the minority to actually be the majority. Does that make sense? Which I think the intent of that is historically what we've been doing. We've always wanted to make sure. I believe, I think probably most of you believe, that the majority should win. That's the way a democracy, representative democracy, works. And I think that the way that this charter change is occurring does do that. It does provide a little bit more power to the mayor in these 2 or 3 instances, but I think it's necessary to allow, because when most votes happen, if this were to happen, the majority just wins, right? But because the state is regulating it, it's required to have 5 votes. And the mayor, so that's what makes it a little bit more complicated. If I'm not making sense, if you want more clarification on this, I'm happy to talk with you more about that offline. I should say my email address with the city is at Kennedy, so KKENNEDY at collegeparkmd.gov. And the last thing I want to talk about is not something that's actually on the agenda, but it's something I'm very excited about, and that is a dog park in District 1. I have been talking with the city manager, and we had a great attendance at the North College Park Citizens Association a couple weeks ago about this very topic. There's a proposal to take one of the baseball fields at Duval Field and turn it into a dog park. Right now in District 1, there are, I believe, 5 baseball fields. I believe 2 at Hollywood Park and 3 at Duval Field. I know there's 3 at Duval Field. But no dog park. So I know when I was out talking to people and campaigning with people, and I have my dog Seneca, I'm out talking to people, I know that there is a lot of interest in a dog park, and I'm not sure that there's an interest for 5 baseball fields, right? There is some talk about potentially moving or changing Duval Field so that maybe it's a lacrosse or soccer field, which I'm looking forward to that. I think that would be great. There was some resistance to using one of the baseball fields. So I'm talking with the city manager and with others in the city staff to see if there are any other, to exhaust all the possibilities. Is there another space that we could use for this dog park? Even if it's just a temporary place until we sort of figure things out. So I'm working with that. What I would like to do, though, is as I am doing that due diligence, talking to people, I'm going to form a Facebook group or something where we can all sort of come together, because I really would like those of you that are interested in the dog park to let me know. I know Seneca, my dog, could really use. We travel out to Wheaton or Silver Spring on a pretty regular basis to get her a dog park. So I would love to have one in District 1. So again, if you have any questions about that or thoughts, please don't hesitate to contact me, Kennedy at College Park, at College Park, Maryland, or collegeparkmd.gov. Would love to talk with you at some point. And thank you again for listening. I hope this was helpful and informative, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. Thanks.